Jujutsu Kaisen! The newest episode came out on Friday, and I just gotta say, I watched it, I liked it. That's about it. Let's try to elaborate, alright? This episode of Jujutsu Kaisen wasn't bad by any means, but I don't think it was any particularly great, I guess. It's good. It's flat out good. But it kind of puppy. 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 Goodbye, puppy. Alrighty, let me rephrase what I just said. Jujutsu Kaisen has always been a damn good, solid show. To me, it has never really made itself to be one of the best shows ever. It hasn't even reached that level yet. And I've read the manga, so I do know what happens, and I still kind of hold that belief where it is a damn good, solid standard for what Shonen Jump has to offer for those people who are, curious. But I would no way try to say Jujutsu Kaisen is the best examples of what Shonen Jump has ever had. Because it's not. It's really fucking good, but it's not one of the best Shonen Jump has ever done before. Now, I don't want to get into that debate as to what actually is one of the best Shonen Jumps ever been created or whatever. But enough of that. Let's get back to the actual episode. And we do continue with Yuji still fighting Toto. And that fight is still really good. It's not as good as it was last week, but with how small of a segment this fight had in this episode, I don't really blame it too much. Because later on in the episode, we saw where the budget went, and it's not what you think it was. So the whole bulk of this episode was dedicated to basically Panda and Mekamaru. Now, for those who haven't read the manga, you know what Mekamaru's role is in this whole series. You know where Panda kind of comes from as well. I would say Mekamaru, personally, in the manga, is fleshed out a lot more than Panda is. But that aside, it was kind of neat trying to see those two kind of have a little conversation every now and then between their fight. And, that's kind of typical anime. But I really did kind of feel for Mekamaru in the anime, where I didn't really feel too much for him in the manga, because when I read this fight in the manga, it was kind of short. It was kind of like it looked really nice in the manga pages. It flowed very well, but it was also pretty quick, in my opinion, at least. And this anime, it dedicated the entire episode basically to those two. Now, you would be forgiven if you think that the bulk of this budget was put to the fight, but I actually think where the budget really went was to the last scene of the episode, where we saw, what was it, Maki? Yeah, the weapon user of our side, her doing her little spin with her spear. That was nice. And after that, really, there isn't much more to say. I'm kind of looking forward to what happens next time. And it does seem like it's going to be more, not so much filler, but it's going to be another fight with another pairing of the school event, which kind of makes sense because this is supposed to be competition between the schools. So having different mini fights within the grander fight, in which case the grander fight right now, I guess could be technically be Yuji versus Toto. And I would definitely see that as the main event. We're here to see Yuji take on Toto because, one, that's the most emotionally invested we are, and unless you really like Fushiguro and his whole ordeal with his family, then maybe you'll like his fight. But for me, the main event is still Yuji versus Toto, and it's even in the cover image and that Crunchyroll has of the show, and that kind of speaks to as to what we can expect of this season so far. I know there's going to be another twist because, one, I did read the manga, but two, it's more like this show is building this event to be something much more grander in the grand scope of things. For those who are just anime watchers, you just don't really know what that grand event's going to be like. What is this all building towards? For those who read the manga, you do know what happens, so you do know what this is kind of building towards, and you know how it kind of shakes things with the Jujutsu users, right? I think that's what they're called. Not what they call it. The school is called Jujutsu High, so yes, I believe they are called the Jujutsu users. Whatever, you get the fucking fact. But those are just my thoughts on the episode. Again, it's a good episode. It does kind of flesh out two minor characters. It kind of makes you at least understand where they come from, and maybe even get you invested in their characters for future events that they may be taking a part of. So, If you really liked it, leave a comment below. Tell me how you liked it. If you hated this episode for whatever reason, again, leave a comment below, and I'll see how much our opinions differ. But if you're like me and you thought, nah, this was a solid episode, but it wasn't a great episode. Nor was it really an episode to really be remembered, but nonetheless, I still enjoyed it. Thank you for coming to the Lobby for Hobbyists, and I'll see you next time you check in at the lobby. Peace.